was recruited during this process, except for foreign mission staff who are obliged by our electoral law to assist in providing services for registration and polling at all Namibian foreign missions. In terms of Section 65(2)(a) of the Electoral Act, it provides for the training of election officials, a recognition of the fact that free, fair, and credible elections are a direct result of well-trained registration and election officials. In essence, the training was conducted at three distinct functional levels. Level 1, regional managers, 14 regional coordinators, and 28 assistant coordinators were successfully trained from the 17th to the 19th of June 2019, and they have already assumed duties in their respective regions. 68 diplomatic mission officials, 2 per diplomatic mission, were appointed to conduct the supplementary voters registration at all our 34 diplomatic missions. They underwent training locally in Namibia from 17th to the 24th of June 2019 on both registration and polling processes in order to economize on the cost of flying them to and fro from their respective diplomatic missions. They all returned to their duty stations on 26th of June 2019. The ECN wishes to take this opportunity to express its gratitude to the Ministry of International Relations and Cooperation for facilitating this effort, but also to the individual staff members involved for demonstrating dedication to their motherland. 14 regional IT technicians were trained from the 18th to the 20th of June 2019 and have already been deployed to their respective regions. Then we have level 2 supervisors. 121 supervisors of registration were trained from the 20th to the 24th of June 2019 and have already assumed duties at their respective constituencies. Level 3 regional logistics officers and registration officers. 54 regional logistic officers were trained from the 18th to the 19th of June 2019 and have also been deployed to their respective regions on the 20th of June 2019. Furthermore, the training of 3,345 registration officers is still ongoing at designated clusters in all 14 regions, which began from 28th of June until tomorrow, which is the 5th of July 2019, when they will be ready for deployment to their various duty stations on the 6th of July. Ladies and gentlemen, in terms of the 2019 election calendar, the proclamation and gazetting of the dates of the SRV is scheduled to be published on the 28th of June 2019, was scheduled to be published on 28th June 2019, and I am pleased to inform you that that has been done. In order to conduct a successful voter registration process, it is crucial that the ECN secures sufficient number of vehicles for the transport logistics of its registration team, as well as the registration material and equipment. In this regard, the ECN has submitted the transport requirements to the government, offices, ministries, and agencies, OMAS, to avail vehicles for this SRV exercise. The ECN requires a total number of 856 vehicles to be assigned to the registration officials, including regional coordinators, assistant coordinators, supervisors of registration, IT technicians, logistical personnel, as well as the registration teams. So far, the ECN has been able to secure 712 government vehicles, leaving a shortfall of 145 vehicles. In alleviating vehicle shortages, the ECN has devised a Plan B, whereby the ECN will resort to contracting private citizens with suitable vehicles to assist in the transportation of personnel and registration material during the upcoming registration process. As I speak, the ECN has set in motion the implementation of Plan B, as it is now apparent that the required number of GRN vehicles has not been secured, cannot be secured. Although transport still remains a challenge, it is worth mentioning that all regional management teams have already received vehicles and are already in the field, making preparations for the commencement of the registration process on the 8th of July 2019. With regard to the specialized transport requirements, the ECN managed to secure 5 trucks and 2 helicopters. The helicopters are mainly used in certain inaccessible areas of the Kunene region where road infrastructure is almost non-existent. In addition, the Zambezi Regional Council has committed 2 boats to be used in the flood-prone areas of the Zambezi region. With regard to logistical preparations, I'm pleased to confirm as follows. In-country registration materials have been dispatched to the respective regions from the 25th to the 30th of June 2019. Registration material for the 34 diplomatic missions have already been dispatched from 14th to 21st June 2019 and were received without any challenge. All regional logistics stores have already been operational as from the 21st of June 2019. The deployment of 671 registration teams is expected to take place from the 6th to the 7th of July 2019, both in country and at diplomatic missions. All registration venues have been identified, verified, and secured in all 121 constituencies. The notice for the availability of the provisional voters' registers is scheduled to be published in the Government Gazette on the 28th of August 2019. And electronic copies of the registers will be availed to the registered political parties and organizations. Political parties and organizations who are entitled to receive the voters' registers will be given the opportunity to collect e-copies of the provisional voters' register from the Office of the Chief Electoral Officer at the ECN head office. Sections 31 of the Electoral Act No. 5 of 2014 provides for the preparation and publishing of the provisional voters' register, and Section 32 provides for the display, scrutiny, and objections against names of persons included in the provisional voters' register. In this regard, the ECN will identify suitable display venues which are strategically located in all 14 regions. Registered voters, registered political parties, and organizations will be afforded the opportunity to subject the provisional voters' registers to scrutiny and possible objection of names in the registers or persons who may not be eligible to be registered as voters. In terms of the Section 32(3)(b)(1) of the Electoral Act No. 5 of 2014, any objections to the inclusion of names in the provisional register may be lodged with designated magistrate courts, which are also known as election tribunals. In this regard, 15 days from 9th to 24th September 2019 are set aside for the representation of objections before the electoral tribunals. The ECN may not remove any name of a registered voter from the provisional voters' registers except by a written order by the electoral tribunal. The number of voters on the final registers might be reduced by the number of any objections upheld by the courts. The electoral tribunals are expected to deliver their verdict on objections lodged with the courts during the period 9-24 September, and only then could the final voters' registers be determined and finalized. The Electoral Act provides for registered voters, registered political parties, and organizations to be afforded an opportunity to appeal against electoral courts in terms of Section 33(1)(a)(b), and the period to lodge an appeal will be from 20th to 28th September 2019. The last day ruling by electoral tribunal will be on the 1st of October 2019. The final voters' registers are expected to be published in the Gazette on the 25th of October 2019. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to reassure you that the voters' register is subjected to rigorous verification and cleaning process before the final voters register is published on the 25th of October 2019. The new AFIS system, which the ECN has introduced, guarantees that fingerprints matching and other biometric data of voters will be thoroughly checked to eliminate duplicates and names of persons who are not supposed to be in the final register. As witnessed in recent elections held since 2014, the accuracy and credibility of our voters' registers were not called into question. I can therefore assure you that the ECN intends to provide an accurate and credible voters' register. For the benefit of all the stakeholders, the election date, names of returning officers, and the nomination date for political party candidates must be published in the Government Gazette in terms of Section 64 of the Electoral Act. These proclamations are scheduled to be published in the Gazette on 30th of September 2019. The submission of nomination of any independent candidates for presidential elections is scheduled to take place on 16th of October 2019. In terms of Section 64(3)(a), the final date for the submission of nomination of presidential and National Assembly election candidates by political party lists will be on 18th of October 2019. The 30th November 2019 has been determined as the date on which voting will take place at Namibia foreign missions, as well as voting of sea-going personnel. The election day for the 2019 presidential and National Assembly elections has been determined in terms of Section 64(3)(b) of the Electoral Act and will take place on 27th November 2019. The ECN is urging all eligible Namibians who do not already have a voter's card to go in droves to the registration points to register themselves. This is an opportunity availed to you to exercise your fundamental right to ensure that you are eligible to elect those who will represent you at the central level of governance, i.e. the President of the Republic of Namibia and members of the National Assembly. The ECN wishes to acknowledge the important role being played by other stakeholders, including the media and civil society organizations, Namibian police, and community leaders in making the registration process a successful one. In particular, the Commission is encouraging the media again to join the ECN in sensitizing and promoting participation of all eligible voters in this registration process and ultimately to increase voter turnout in the 2019 national elections. On that note, we trust that together we shall have a successful 2019 registration campaign as well as 2019 general elections come 27th November. God bless Namibia. I thank you.